everyone, welcome to Sports Saza. Today with me, I have Mr. Bijit Kulkarni, who is a badminton journalist as well as the author of the Gopi Chand Factor. And all of us as badminton fans, as in Team India fans, we are so happy because Team India has won the Thomas Cup for the first time ever. So, what do you think about this historic achievement?
It's a special moment for Indian sports. We have a Sindhu winning a world championship, a Saina winning a Olympic medal or a Commonwealth gold, but somehow winning a team event is something special because what happens in a lot of individual sports, people just follow an individual. When the individual is doing well, there is that chatter going on. But when a team wins, the entire country gets involved. I think that is where it is so special that. It also shows that Indian badminton is not about one or two players, it's about a team, and that's something very, very special.
Absolutely. So we had seen our Indian doubles men pair do so well in the Olympics, but we'd spoken long about how Indian women's badminton is on the rise, men's is on the decline. And this time we've seen that the men's team has reached the Thomas Cup. Women's got knocked out in the Uber Cup quarterfinal. But do you think time is back for the Indian men's team as well?
I think we always thought the Indian women's team were on the rise because we had a Saina and a Sindhu playing very well.
Yes.
But if we look at a bunch of players, like we had almost half a dozen players in the top 50 for the last 7, 8 years in men's singles. So that way we always had depth in men's singles. Our challenge was men's doubles, where we didn't have any really big players. So the emergence of Satvik Chirag after 2015 actually allowed us to build on doubles. Also, it helped that Badminton Association of India and Sports Authority of India invested in double specific coaches. First Tankemar
Yes.
came, then Flandy came, and now Matthias Bo has been working with
Matthias.
these players. So ultimately, we now have coaching staff which is working specifically for doubles. And so once the doubles thing started getting better, then it was very easy for us to start looking at medal prospects. So if you see, we have only two medals in Uber Cup in 2014 and
In
2016, which was a
2016.
bronze medal. Yeah,
Yes.
which was a
Yes.
bronze medal. That was because Jwala Ashwini could pull off one match. So
Correct. You're
doubles
correct,
is
sir.
important.
So there was time when Saina was spearheading the women's attack along with the young Sindhu. Sindhu is still 26 years old, and this time आपने देखा होगा Uber Cup में there was a very young women
Yeah.
contingent, and Sindhu was spearheading it. पर जो वो doubles pair है वो नहीं था of Jwala Gutta and Ashwini Ponappa as you said. But this time the men's had a very strong team. The last time Indian men's had reached the semi-finals was way back in 1979, 43 years ago. And so, if you see this time India hadn't even topped the league stage. They lost to Chinese Taipei. They'd beaten Germany, Canada in the group stages. But Chinese Taipei से हार के आए थे. And we had Malaysia, Denmark, Indonesia in the knockout stages. So, did you ever feel that India could lose?
See, the way this top eight works, right? The top eight teams are exceptionally above the others. So qualifying for the knockout stage was a given. Even though, even
Yeah.
like in the Uber Cup team, we still qualified for the knockout stage uh,
Yes.
because the draw was such. Then it was always about 3-2, winning 3-2 because with our doubles, three singles and one doubles is what we could win. So if Lakshya won, you could have won 3-0 with the doubles guys. If Lakshya does not win, then you go for 3-2 if the doubles guys win. So
Yes.
considering that one singles we may lose, we still had one doubles and two singles to win. So it was always a 50-50 match. With Malaysia, the minute we won doubles. So the way the team probably was looking at is if you get 1 point from the first two matches, then against Malaysia you are sure of the two singles in a way
Yep.
because the Malaysian singles contingent is not that strong. Against Denmark, I think Anders Andersen was a formidable opponent, and
Correct.
Srikanth did exceptionally well to beat him.
And so,
And
since
what,
you spoke about Srikanth, I just want to bring the topic and tell our viewers that Srikanth hadn't lost any match in the Thomas Cup so far, and he lost to Christie just in April last month in the Korean Open semi-finals in straight games. एंड लग रहा था शायद आज क्रिस्टी माइट गेट better of श्रीकांत एंड आज सेकंड डबल्स पेयर जो फोर्थ मैच होता ध्रुव एंड अर्जुन वर प्लेइंग आफ्टर अ गैप ऑफ 2 games दे weren't a part of the quarters as well as the semis. तो आपको लग रहा था कि एच एस प्रणॉय तक जाने वाला है या वर यू कॉन्फिडेंट दैट श्रीकांत विल गेट द अपर हैंड ओवर क्रिस्टी?
It's very difficult to predict, but the minute it became 2-0, it was always pressure on Christie. Srikanth could play a lot more freely. If probably it was 1-1, then the pressure would have been on Srikanth because he knew that the doubles is not going to work. And
Yes.
it would go to say Pranoy to play. But the minute it was very clear that you are 2-0 up, Srikanth could play freely. The pressure was on Christie to win, and that pressure showed in the way he made mistakes when he was leading. So second game he was playing from a better position, but he still made a lot of mistakes.
Correct. And talking about Lakshya Sen beating the Olympic bronze medalist, the first, setting the tone for the Indian contingent. पहला मैच हुआ था लक्ष्य सेन और गिंटिंग का. He lost the first game at a 21-8 score coming back. And this was the story with Chirag and Satwik as well. Lost the first game. So Lakshya Sen lost his last 2 matches, lost to Axelson as well. So were you confident of Lakshya Sen's form against an Olympic bronze medalist?
Yesterday there was a Twitter Spaces that was going on, and I had actually said that I would put my money on Lakshya Sen simply because of the way Lakshya Sen plays and the way Jinting is plays.
Yes.
So Jinting is a very aggressive player who likes to attack, 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 and somebody like a Lakshya Sen keep the shuttle back in play and also attack when needed, which means somebody like Jinting will go for easy points, will look for easy points, and that is where Lakshya always had an opportunity to beat Jinting.
Okay,
Uh,
so you think that you were quite confident and you thought Lakshya Sen always had the upper advantage today. And then coming to the second match, our doubles pair of Chirag and Satvik versus Sukhamulyo. Gideon was not playing today, and you know Ehsan wasn't 100% fit. The Indian contingent was also targeting Ehsan. But did you think that the Indian contingent could get the better of the Indonesian pair?
these two guys had gotten the better of Sukumaljo and in the last time they played them. Gideon
Yep.
was not here because he's out to surgery, so he the Thomas Cup at all. So it was in a way when you're playing a scratch combination, it's always advantage to a regular combination. Ehsan was not injured or anything, but I think Ehsan is now getting old. Yeah, in the semi-finals, they played Hendra Setyevan because of that, because even taking that load is difficult. And that is precisely why probably they did not play Setyevan and Ehsan, because Chatwik and Chirag can be really, really aggressive and faster than them. So they put Sukumaljo and Ehsan in it, but you saw that under they could get Ehsan and it helped the Indian team.
And if you remember the second game, Indian team had lost the first game 18-21. Second game was also 18-20. And that was after 1914 ka gap tha. Matlab they were down, saved 4 match points. Did you think the Indian team will lose in 2 straight games and then recovering in the second game and eventually winning the third game? I think that was a very, very historic comeback for them.
Yeah, I think even at 2017, with the experience of Kevin and Hassan, I think everybody thought that it is over. But
Yep.
the good part, which I think Matthias Bo has also brought in the Indian team, is that there's a lot more belief in these two guys. Tactical belief. They could change tactics. They play a different kind of game. And having knowing that they have lost the first singles, the pressure was again on the Indonesian pair, and these
Yep.
guys could exploit it. So in a team championship, this is what happens. It is also a lot mental, and when you are not a regular combination, one guy makes a mistake, the other guy starts thinking differently, and that played in the hands of Chirag Satwik.
Perfectly. I think you think India set the momentum right, and that was key. They won the first match, then Chirag Satwik won, and there was heavy pressure on Christie. Christie is such a free flowing player that could not be seen today. So I think you're correct on that part. Also, we've spoken a lot about women's pair, but the men's doubles pair is reaching newer heights with each and every passing tournament. And as we've discussed earlier, the fourth match, our doubles pair was Arjun Dhruv, fifth was HS Pranoy. Although people had said that HS Pranoy is fit, there was some concerns whether he's 100% fit, not fit. And yesterday, you saw in the Uber Cup what happened in the fifth match. Someone actually causing a huge upset. So do you think अगर 2-2 हो जाता, I'm just taking a very hypothetical case, had Srikanth lost and our four doubles lost, would you have backed Pranoy to still win this game?
Yes, like I had checked in the morning with the coaching staff, and Pranay didn't have any problem with his ankle. And Pranay, as a player, excels in pressure cooker situations. So yeah, they were like, I don't think even the Indian team prepared for 3-0. The Indian team always prepared for 3-2, hoping for a
Correct.
3-0. So, but like you said, anything can happen in a match. It's very difficult to predict a match. It's not, you can't say this guy is going to win or that guy is going to win. But if it was a match at 3-2 all, I would have said 60-40 for Pranay.
Okay. So you wouldn't have said a very easy win because you know how the crucial fifth game is such a high pressure environment. Indonesia being 14-time champions, India has reached the finals for the first time. But on that note, very, very proud moment for Team India, for all Indian badminton fans. And I think this is just the start. We have lots and lots of more tournaments, more glory planned. So, which is the next tournament in which you see all these players participating in?
So there's the Thailand Open, there's the Indonesia Open, which will come up. Then there's the Commonwealth Games and the World Championship. So I think with Asian Games now postponed,
Yeah.
the team will focus more on the Commonwealth Games because we have to defend the team gold medal and the World Championship, where again we can look at a few medals.
And just before we leave, we also have a few channels who are calling this a great session. So, sir, just one thing with Saina battling continuous injuries, and this time we actually had sported such a young women contingent. What is the next future? Do you think it's time to groom the younger generation along with Sindhu?
We are
Where do you
already
see the
grooming.
women?
We are already
Yeah,
grooming the next generation. It's not like we are not grooming the next generation, but it's difficult to find a Saina or a Sindhu. It takes time. So I don't think the current next bench strength is really ready for that responsibility. There are other kids who are 15, 16, 17, like a Tasneem Mir or a Unnati Huda,
Unnati
who
Huda, yes.
who need some time to be groomed. And it was good that Unnati Huda went with the team. Unluckily, they didn't play her because it was important for us to win some of those matches, and they didn't take that risk. But I think these two girls have the potential. Now, how they are groomed, how systems work out, we will see. But it will take some time. Luckily, Sindhu would be around for a couple of years,
Yeah.
so we have some time to build the next big singles player from the women's side.
Absolutely, and just to tell our viewers, Unnati Huda is just 14 years old, and at this age, traveling with the team, getting the required exposure, would actually give her so much more confidence because at 14 years you don't expect to travel with the senior team, get to see your men's team winning. So I think good exposure for the youngsters, and hopefully they'll learn a lot from this experience. But on that note, sir, thank you for coming in. Do subscribe to Sports Taza to all our viewers, and let's celebrate Indian badminton reach new heights. Thank you so much.